Now we'll discuss how do we define probability by relative frequency. Okay, what is that here we do? We conduct a random experiment with a sample space S. Okay, so what is sample space? Sample space will have all possible outcomes of an experiment. Okay, so here we have a random experiment with the sample space S. So what we do here, we shall assign what non-negative number called probability to each event in the sample space. Okay, so we know that we are assigning a non-negative number to each event in the sample space. Okay, let A be a particular event in S. Then what is the probability of event A will be denoted as P of A. Okay, suppose that the random experiment is repeated n times. Here we are conducting random experiment how many times ma? N times. So if event A is occurring how many times? N times the event A is occurring, then the probability of event A is defined as relative frequency. How do you define probability of A now? We are defining probability of A by using relative frequency. So what is the relative frequency definition for probability here is probability of an event A is defined as probability of A is equal to what? Limit n tends to infinity. How many times the particular event occurred? Here check it, Na times you are getting probability of Na divided by how many times you have conducted the experiment. The experiment is repeated n times. The experiment is repeated n times. So Na by n. Okay, where n tends to infinity. This is the definition for defining the probability by using relative frequency. What is that here we are doing? We are conducting the experiment n times. We are counting how many times the particular event will occur. So if Na is the number of times the event A will occur, then probability of A will be equal to what? Limit n tends to infinity Na by n. So this is called the definition of probability by relative frequency. Okay, so here you see here a die is thrown how many times? 1,000 times. Okay, now we are counting how many times we are getting one, how many times we are getting two, how many times we are getting three, 4, 5, 6, like this. So in 1,000 times, one we are getting for 179 times, two we are getting for 150 times, three we are getting for 157 times, four we are getting for 149 times, 5 we are getting for 175 times, 6 we are getting for 190 times. Okay, now what is the probability of getting outcome 1? Will be how many times we got 1? 179 divided by how many times we have conducted the experiment? 1,000 times. So it is 179 by 1,000. And now if you add all these probabilities of these outcomes, what is this value will be equal to 1. There is one more experiment here. So a survey is conducted among 200 students about the subject maths. Okay, so in 200 students, the number of students like the maths will be 135. Number of students dislikes the math will be 65. Okay, so what is the probability of likeliness of the students will be is equal to how many number of students will like that subject divided by total number of students among which the survey is conducted. Okay, so it is 135 divided by 200. Okay, so it is 135 divided by 200. Similarly, the probability of dislikeliness of the students will be equal to number of students dislikes the subject divided by total number of students among which the survey is conducted. So it is 65 divided by 200. That gives us the probability of number of students dislike the subject. Okay. So here we have already discussed what is event. Event is subset of sample space. Okay, it collects the outcome of a particular interest. The probability of event A will be denoted as P of A. Okay, is obtained by summing the probabilities of outcomes contained within the event. Okay, for example, when you throw a die, what are the possible outcomes we have? So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the possible outcomes we will be getting when you throw a die. Okay. And we know that each outcome will be having what is the probability? 1 by 6. Each and every outcome will be having the probability 1 by 6. So what is A here? For example, A is defined like this. Okay. A is having the values 1, 2, 3 is the values of A. Now how do you find out probability of A? The probability of A will be is equal to probability of 1. What is probability of 1 here? 1 by 6 plus probability of 2 plus probability of 3. Okay. So it is the probability of sum of sum of probability of each outcome. Okay. How do you find out P of A? Is obtained by summing the probability of outcomes contained within the event A. So what is that we are doing? What are the outcomes you have? Then we are just adding the probability of each and every outcome in this event. So that we'll be getting what is the probability of A. Okay. So a event is said to occur if one of the outcome contained within the event is occurred. When you say that the event is occurred, say if when you throw a die, if you are getting value 1, then we say that this event A is occurred. Okay. If you get value 2 also, because 2 also present in A, no? So if you get 2 also, then also we say that event A is occurred. If you get 3, when you throw a die, if you are getting value 3, then also we say that the event A is occurred. Okay. So when you say that the event is occurred, the event is said to be occurred if one of this outcome contained in the event is occurred, then we say that event A is occurred. So you may get 1 or 2 or 3, any one of this you are getting, then we say that this event is occurred. So for example, when you throw a die, if you are getting 4, so now 4 is not present in A, no? 4 is not present in A, so that we say that event A is not occurred. Okay. So now what is event? The probability of event is what? The sum of the probabilities of outcomes in that event. Okay. So just now we have discussed this. When you throw a die, what are the possible outcomes we will be getting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each outcome, probability of 1, probability of 2, probability of 3, each outcome is having the probability is equal to 1 by 6. Okay. Now what is the probability of getting even number? So what are the possible outcomes here? 2, 4, 6. No, getting a even number is having the probability of 2, 4, 6. Then what is the probability of getting even number will be probability of 2 plus probability of 4 plus probability of 6. So what is probability of 2 will be 1 by 6. Probability of 4 is also 1 by 6. Probability of 6 is also 1 by 6. So what is the probability of getting even number will be 1 by 2. Okay. Now here you see that you have a sample space. What is A here? This is A. What is A complement? Other than this, whatever elements you have, that is nothing but A complement. Outside this A, all this other elements in the sample space, that is called A complement. And now we know that what is probability of A plus probability of A complement will be equal to 1. Okay, how do you find out probability of A? You just add the probabilities contained in A. So what are that we have here? You observe 0 0.1, 0 0.15, 0 0.3. Okay, so that we get probability of A is equal to 0.55. What is A complement? Here you check. These are the 5 elements we have and their probabilities are given here. Okay, if you add all these probabilities, we got 0.45. And we also discussed from the properties that probability of A plus probability of A complement is equal to 1. Okay. Okay, so this we have already discussed that probability of A plus probability of A complement is equal to 1. Okay, now for example, what is A here? A is having 0 errors, 1 error, 2 errors. Okay, now what is probability of A? Probability of A is probability of getting 0 errors, probability of getting 1 error, probability of getting 2 errors will give you what is probability of A. What is probability of A complement, ma? It is just 1 minus probability of A. So from that we get probability of A complement will be 0.52. Okay. Now here we have a game of chance. Okay, what is game of chance here? We are throwing 2 dice. When you throw a 2 dice, what is event A? Event A is nothing but getting the sum. When you throw 2 dice, getting the sum is equal to 6. Okay, so here we have discussed that when you throw a die, what are the possible outcomes? We get possible outcomes are 1, 1, 2, 6, 6. There are 36 possible outcomes. Each outcome is having the probability is equal to 1 by 36. Okay. Now how many times you are getting? The sum is equal to 6. See here, only these are the cases where we get sum is equal to 6. 1 plus 1 is 2 noma. So you should not take. Where you get sum is equal to 6. So what are the cases where you get sum is equal to 6? 1 comma 5, 2 comma 4, 3 comma 3, 4 comma 2, 5 comma 1. These are the cases where we get sum is equal to 6. These are the cases where we get sum is equal to 6. And we also know that each outcome is having what is the probability? 1 by 36. Now what is the probability of A? So it is 1 by 36 for first one, 1 by 36 for second one, 1 by 36 for third one, 1 by 36 for fourth one, 1 by 36 for fifth one. So what is the probability here is 5 by 36. Okay. Similarly, you see this case here we are getting that checking that at least one of the dice will be having the value is equal to 0. Okay, sorry, 6. So when you throw 2 dice, at least one die should give the value is equal to 6. Okay, what are the possible cases here? These are the possible cases, all these cases. Okay, so 1 comma 6, one die is getting 6, no? 2 comma 6, again one die is getting 6, 3 comma 6, 4 comma 6, 5 comma 6, 6 comma 6, 6 comma 5, 6 comma 4, 6 comma 3, 6 comma 2, 6 comma 1. These are the possible outcomes where we get at least 1 6. Okay, now how many times we are getting 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 times we are getting 6. So what is probability of B will be 11 by 36. Now what is probability of B complement? It is equal to 1 minus 11 by 36. That is equal to 25 by 36. Okay.